Okay. For this, I do want to paint the back side just to make this paper kind of pop. You see through it, you can see the regular wood. I don't want that. So I actually am going to paint it in sandstone. Hi, Miss Cynthia. So this is a very similar color line, but it's just going to make the print pop. And I haven't even painted the back side, so I will do that also after it's all dry, or maybe we'll do it right now. And I do want my edges. We'll get the edges done all the way at the top. And in that the little hole. Let's see if that's enough to get in there. So happy Wednesday. It is cold. I'm in the Bay Area of California. Yesterday was windy and today is cold. I think it's like 40 or 50 degrees. We're not used to that. Hi, Miss Debbie. So Woodpecker's Crafts, I did tag them in this. They have a ton of different types of these cutting boards. I love decorating with them. Hello, Miss Sassy Frass. That's a cute name. Okay, so while I have some edge, we're just going to get the whole edge. And then I'll finish the front. Okay. So we're going to set this to the side and let it dry. And we're going to start on our little Easter bunny. Make sure I've got all my edges. Perfect. I'll do the back side when we're done. Nobody wants to watch that. Okay, I got paint on my hands. Let me. Perfect. Hello, Miss Jennifer. It's 10:45 here in California. So we're just getting our day started. Okay, we're going to set this to the side and bring our little bunny over. And our Dollar Tree tiles. I love these tiles. I don't even need to paint this. Hi, Miss Stephanie. We're going to use this whole sheet, but I'm going to save my scraps because you never know when you're going to need a smaller section. So if I did these calculations right, so everything fit except the little tiny tip of his ear. And that's okay. With some of these scraps, I'll kind of piece something together, or maybe that's where we'll put a cute little bow. Haven't decided yet. Let me cut that trim edge. Thanks, Miss Stephanie. I love this tile. Every time I go to the dollar store, I just grab a couple. I don't grab them all. But they're very hard to find in my area. I do have a little bit of a stash going. These tiles. So, okay. So we're going to have one little section, which is fine. We can piece that together. So I'm going to flip it over and otherwise get it kind of centered. And I need a thin, let's see if this will work. In this area especially, yes. So just a little marking pen, give myself some guidelines to cut. Oops. Oh, I still have paint on my hands. Good golly. Feels like a Monday. Good morning. We are freezing. I think we're at about 50 degrees, but it's supposed to be cold all week. Like we're having really low snow levels here in California. Like the Santa Cruz Mountains, I think, are going to get snow. Yesterday was super windy. We went to our booth yesterday and driving home, like the truck was all over the place. I miss farmhouse glitter. So we've got our little bunny cut out. I think you can't even, yeah, there's lines there. You can't even see them, but we're just gonna trim this, get it as close as we can. I just don't want it too small. I can always fix it if it's hanging over, but hiding it if I cut it too small is something else. And then these Dollar Tree tiles, they only have stickers on the edges, so I just hot glue them down. I do have my hot glue gun going, but before we do that, I want to paint it. And this is the tricky part because his ears are very close together. Let's make that circle around. We'll come back to that. How's my sound? Is my microphone working? I haven't charged it in a couple days and I keep forgetting to plug it in. Okay. So with this one, I wanted a little farmhouse, but a little spring. So we're gonna dry brush some coral kind of color on it. And then this will go in my booth next week when I go back. And then let's get this little section here. Hi, Miss Darlene. Welcome, everyone. Oh, somebody's alarm's going off. Okay, so these are all my scraps. I'm going to set to the side because I do need, I'm going to need just a little bit. Let me get this back in place and then cut these ears. Okay. We're just going to bend that forward and then trim it. Now let's see how close we are. We are perfect, except that one little spot that we knew about. So I'm going to try and find just one little piece that will kind of match it. No, that looks funny. Maybe if I, like a puzzle. Hi, Miss Sue. I'm going to do this kind of like a puzzle. Okay. So it's going to need to be trimmed at the top, but for right now, until we get it all on, that's okay. So for this one, I wanted this coral crush color. And I don't think I'm going to fill it in, but, you know, we're going to just kind of, hi, Miss Juanita. I'm going to do first the little, oh yeah, we're going to just color it in. We're going to color it in and then maybe do a whitewash over it. There's that little, so we're going to get most of this filled in. Look at that color and still seeing some of the silver behind it. I like that. It's real springy. Plus we don't have to be real neat with our paint. I just killed myself to finish 2 dressers the day before yesterday so we could get them to our booth yesterday. Started and finished them in one day. That's a lot. But they turned out pretty. Right, Miss Cynthia? I love this color. This screams spring. I'm just getting my brush strokes to kind of go in one direction. They're not picking up on camera, but just because I don't know where I'm going to put, we're doing a bow. I just don't know where we're going to put it yet. Now I'm going to make sure I'm getting those crevices. Dabbing and some brushing and some dabbing. Okay, and then I think we're going to set this to the side and let it dry and then get back to our cutting board. So here's our little clip ear that we have to fit on there. Thanks, Miss Catherine. I almost painted a dresser in this the other day, but I thought that's a little much, but I still might someday. More muted colors sell in my area, so I try not to get too wild, but sometimes it's fun. Okay, we're going to clear that off and bring back our cutting board. I'm picturing these two kind of displayed together, like the little bunny in front of this. We're going to set that to the side. And then here is our paper. I have more paint on my hands. So now we're going to need some Mod Podge, and we're going to get this paper on. And I'm actually going, where's my little, here it is, my little squeegee, so we can smooth it out. Let's see, here's a good brush. Now this one I have enough room, and I think I'm going to go all the way to the top. That way the handle also has this pretty stripe. It reminds me of a grain sack. I'm going to get Mod Podge on everything. All the way to the edges. And I am just very sloppy today. Good golly. This lazy Susan has come in very handy. Supposed to save me from getting paint on my hands, but it just makes it easier to move my project. Okay. I think that is good. Now, I want to make sure this is center. Perfect. I'm going to go right at the center. Now I'm going to go to the sides. I'm okay with wrinkles, but this one I was trying to get it a little more perfect. We need our air bubbles out. Perfect. Now let me trim. This is Decoupage Queen. She does such pretty papers. I'm going to trim some excess off here especially. And I could have traced this, but you know, who wants to do that? Perfect. Now, I need to make sure inside that little hole is open. I'm going to get my X-Acto knife, and now I'm going to kind of trim it a little bit better, a little neater. And I'm mostly just tearing it, not cutting it. I like that torn look. And my blade is dull. Okay. Sticking to my hands. Well, welcome, Miss Susan. I'm just going to kind of push it in there. And the Mod Podge that's seeping out, I'm going to use that to kind of keep it down. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Let me clear my, get a new blade. Come on now. Okay. I've got Mod Podge all over my hands. I'm sticky. I'm going to go ahead and cut this now before I put my top coat on. Can't forget I'm on a Lazy Susan. I don't even think I'm using the right side of the blade. Okay, there's that. We're going to circle around here. I'm pulling the paper as I'm cutting. That way, less chance of it to tear. Come on now. Around this neck, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to sand off the rest of it. Because I'm not very good sanding this section. Okay, perfect. Now, where is my, I use an embroidery board, emery board. There it is. On the smaller areas, just because that's a little easier for me. Hi, Miss Marie, welcome. Good golly, I have peach paint on my hands now. While the paper's wet, if you go in one direction, you have less chance to tear it. It's blurry? Hello from Arizona. Welcome. I had that problem yesterday. I did a store tour, and I think it was because of the wind, but it also could be Mr. Facebook. Thank you, Miss Debbie. I appreciate that. So this rice paper just sands off so easy. I see a big air bubble right there in the center. And I do this before I put, it's very blurry. I'm so sorry. Mine looks clear. That's weird. I do this before I put my top coat on because then the paper's too wet and it tears more for me. And I don't really want this a torn look. Is my sound good? It's just blurry? That's weird. Okay. Perfect. Clear? So strange. Okay. Now we're going to top coat this. And I'm only putting one coat on. It's not going to be used for food. So I don't have to worry about it being food safe, but I'm going to make sure and get my edges. Make sure those are all secure. That's weird. So we're mostly blurry, but there's a few people with that it's good. Thanks, Mr. Facebook. And then this one just needs a cute little bow around the neck and it's done. But I will finish the back off camera. Let's get this to dry and then we'll finish our little bunny, and then we can do the finishing touches on both of them. Of course, I have a cute little tag that's going to go in the bow also. We'll set this here to let it dry. Now we'll get our little bunny. So here is, where's his little ear? Did I put it someplace else? Oh, that's fun. Okay, I guess I'll have to cut another one. But here is our little bunny. And then I was thinking, so we'll do a cute little bow. I got these metal tags from the dollar store. And we were gonna put a bow with a little tag. I started painting it because it needs to dry. But these do come in a 3-pack. Ear is by the paste. Oh, thank you. There it is. We're gonna have to cut that to fit. Just trying to decide if I want to do a whitewash over that. I think that's actually pretty cute. If we put white over it, it'll tone it down a little bit, but I don't know if I want to do that. Okay. Let's get him glued on. So I'm going to use hot glue. And I'm using Surebonder hot glue. Gets super hot, but once it's dry, it doesn't go anywhere. And get them lined up. Push down so he's touching everywhere. And then what I'll do when it's done and dry, I will go back on the edges and paint the same color. Well, welcome, Miss Wanda. That way there's no wood showing. So I could have done that beforehand, but I didn't think about it. And then let's trim this down just a tad. We're gonna just dab a little hot glue onto that and piece him in place. Okay, now from the back side, I'm gonna kind of cut it a little bit better into place. Perfect. Oh, he's cute. Okay, so now I want to use these are the cute little cottagecore. These are the Happy Easter minis. So here's our bunny. And I only painted the one side of this. Since it's going to be down, we don't need to paint the other side. I want to use this one up here at the top. Spring has sprung. I've lost my, oh, there it is. I'm just going to cut this one out. This is new, has not been used yet. I just got it. And I want to do some bright colors. I love Chalk Couture. It just adds that little oomph. Oh, I cut all the way through. That's okay. It just adds that special little touch. And I haven't really let this paste, the color, it's too blurry. I'm sorry. Maybe the replay will be better. Didn't let this paint cure very long, so it may pull up when I pull this up, but that's okay. I'll touch it up. I was thinking like a really bright color maybe, but this purple goes really well. Let's just do the purple. I don't think I've used this one yet. Nope. This is like a shimmer purple with that green. I think that's gonna be pretty. Let's make sure I've got everything, and I'm gonna scoop up the excess. Okay, that is good. Let me put my glue gun back on. Now, come on. I'm trying to lift this up without touching it. Actually, I kind of like that. So what I'm going to do is wait for the whole thing to dry and then distress it a little bit more. I like that. Or I'll go over the whole thing with like a white glaze. So what would have helped that is if I would have top coated my paint and then done this. But I kind of wanted to see what kind of look I got. And I actually kind of like it. I may even go over it with a brown to make it look a little more rusty. Now with our pink, I brought over these bright colored bows. This orange actually kind of goes with it. And then this kind of sheer, I think we're going to do a bow right on his neck. Just a messy bow. We're going to cut a couple of these. We'll cut a couple of these. Couple of these bright green. Move this over here. I like to use all different size ribbons. Sometimes I'll just use fabric. And then maybe even some of this burlap. Let's try it. We'll try it. Or this isn't, it's like twine. Okay, now I need twine to tie it all together. How are we on? We're good on time. Okay, we're gonna put this in the back. Then our green, and our orange. That. Green, and our orange, and our white. Okay, now I will kind of pitch this like an accordion. Make sure all my ribbons are laying how I want them. And then we'll tie it really tight. I'm going to leave these long because that's what I'm going to tie to this. But let me add, do I want brown?